Alright, so what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to take a look at this Dan Henry email. It's in his name, doesn't necessarily mean he wrote it, but if you don't know who Dan Henry is, he's a successful entrepreneur, very successful entrepreneur, and a talented copywriter, a digital marketer. You can look him up and see. But he's got good stuff. And we're going to take a look at this email and kind of break down what's going on as far as copywriting goes. And yeah, let's get into it. So starting off with the subject line, the one pizza that actually made me rich. Okay, the one pizza that actually made me rich. So if you're familiar with Dan Henry, you know that he used to deliver pizzas. He was a pizza delivery driver for like 7 years or something. 5 years, 7 years. And, well, he didn't get rich off of pizza delivery. So, like, if you know him, and you probably know a bit about him, if you're subscribed to him, email subscribers are more like a warm to hot audience. Not necessarily cold, although they could probably be on the colder side, but anyway, this is a warm or hot audience. This people who know something about you if they're on your list, right? So yeah, part of his background is that he was delivering pizza for a while, and he did not get rich off of that. So this subject line kind of arouses curiosity. Okay, like the one pizza that actually made me rich. Well, you didn't get rich off of making pizza, so like, what are you talking about, dude? And of course he's talking to his audience, his entrepreneurs. So yeah, I mean, it's not a bad subject line, and the whole goal of the subject line is to get you to open the email. And well, anyway, let's get into the body copy of the email. Let's read it. I used to think being everywhere was the key to success. Running ads, posting on every platform, doing webinars, podcasts, speaking gigs, you name it, I was there. So, okay, starting off, in your copy, whether it's email copy, ad copy, whatever, you want to enter the conversation that's going on in your ideal audience's mind, right? So, what are some like entrepreneurs, new like startups, whatever, what are they doing or commonly being advised to do? Like a lot of them, or a number of them, are probably trying to be everywhere, like he's talking about here, running ads, posting on every platform, doing webinars, podcasts, speaking gigs, stuff like that. Like, this is stuff that his ideal audience is probably doing, and he's putting, like, he's telling their story in the first person. So like, I was there. I used to think that being everywhere is the key to success, running ads and so on. So these are things that they are doing, and he's relating his experience to them, and that builds rapport, connection, trust, and authority in a sense, because he's tried these things before. These things that his ideal client is probably doing or has tried, he's done it before. He was in the trenches. So anyway, he was there, he was doing it, he was in the trenches. There's some connection going on here. And also speaking to the current situation that his ideal client is going through, which you want to do that, you want to call him out. Anyway, then one day I'm sitting with Grant Cardone in his office. Now, it's another big name in at least in the sales, real estate as well, probably. I'm not as familiar with Grant Cardone. I've heard of him, and anyway, I'm not as familiar with Grant Cardone. I don't really listen to Grant Cardone, but he's another big name. And so I mean, the fact that he's speaking with this guy, that Dan Henry's speaking with this guy, that builds some credibility, some authority. But anyway, then one day I'm sitting with Grant Cardone in his office. I'm explaining all the different marketing stuff I'm doing, and he stops me mid-sentence. How many of these things are actually making you real money? Oh, well, that's a good question. And this is a question that the reader is probably going to ask themselves. But moving on, I told him paid presentations were crushing it, made me way more than anything else. He looks at me like I'm an idiot and says, so you're telling me the thing that gets you the most money with the least stress, you're not doing all the time? That hit me like a ton of bricks. Okay, so yeah, there's some illustrative language going on there. Like figures of speech like that, people get it. So you're telling me that the thing that makes you the most money with the least stress, you're not doing all the time? Okay. So this is the problem here. Like, okay, he's explaining all these different things I'm doing. Like, he's sharing with you the solution, the breakthrough that he had when he was in the situation that his ideal client, that his, Dan Henry's ideal client, is probably in. So he's given a lesson in the form of a story. He's not saying, well, like, he's not saying, well, this is what you should do. I mean, he's at least not at first. He's starting out with like, okay, this is where I was, and this is what Grant Cardone told me. And that's especially if you're starting out and you don't have a lot of credibility or connection with people, with your audience yet. Taking this is what I did, like this is what I learned kind of approach is it's effective. So that hit me like a ton of bricks. See, I had fallen into what I now call the pizza circle trap. Okay, what is that? Well, picture a circle. Okay, he's giving you an illustration in your head, and it's a simple one, not hard to picture. Picture a circle. When you focus on one thing, it fills 100% of that circle. Easy to picture. But add a second thing, now each gets 50%. Okay, yeah, you can imagine a line cutting that circle in half. And yeah, it's not hard to picture. Third thing, 33%. Yeah, I mean, we've seen a circle divided into threes. 33%. I was giving everything 5 to 10% of my attention, wondering why nothing was really taking off. Here's the truth. I made more money in 3 days doing one killer paid presentation than I did in 6 months trying to be everywhere. Okay, still, see what he's doing. He's not saying, okay, well, so you should stop being, or like, you should focus. He's saying, or like, you're probably giving everything 5 to 10% of your attention, wondering why nothing's really taken off. Here's the truth. You should like focus on one thing. He's saying, look, I was giving everything 5 to 10% of my attention. And what is the reader doing? The reader is applying this to their own circumstances, their own situation, their current situation, their own story. Here's the truth. I made more money in 3 days doing one killer paid presentation than I did in 6 months trying to be everywhere. So there's a bit of new way, old way going on here. Like, okay, the old way is trying to be everywhere, and some digital marketing mentors advise for you to be on as many platforms as you can. And some people might take that advice sooner than they should. But anyway, so the old way is trying to be everywhere. The new way, he's not calling it out like, okay, yeah, that's the old way, but he's doing this subtly, or like he's not saying, okay, the old way is this, the new way is this. I mean, you probably could do that, but that's not what he's doing here. Anyway, so the old way, being everywhere. New way, doing one killer paid presentation. That's the new opportunity. One killer paid presentation. So I made more money in 3 days doing one killer paid presentation than I did in 6 months trying to be everywhere. Again, this is his own experience. For 3 years straight, I focused solely on Facebook ads. That's it. Just Facebook ads. Now, I can fix someone's entire ad campaign in 10 minutes over coffee while they've been struggling for months. Like he's giving an example of what the power of focusing can do for you. Not because I'm special, because I filled my circle with one thing until I mastered it. The same is true for for crafting high converting presentations. When I stopped trying to do everything, again, stop doing this, start doing this, or like old way, new way. And when I stopped, so stop doing this, start doing this. When I stopped, but he's not saying, okay, you stop. He's saying when I stopped trying to do everything and just focused on mastering presentations, that's when things exploded. And now I can fix someone's pitch in literally 2 minutes. Listen, you don't need to be everywhere. Okay, so that's like, what is it? What's the phrase? Not sweeping it under the rug, but like pulling whatever. He's just like deconstructing or like demolishing or whatever that belief that you need to be everywhere in this email. Listen, you don't need to be and he's just like, you're just saying it outright right here. Listen, you don't need to be everywhere. And this is not something that you want to say at the beginning of the email. Don't just give it away. You got to do the build up and like take the reader through the experience, which is what he's done in this email. Listen, you don't need to be everywhere. You need to be excellent at one thing. Master that, then move on to the next. Like, okay, he could have said this at the beginning. Well, actually, it wouldn't have fulfilled on the subject line. So another thing, you don't want to clickbait. People don't like that. But like, he could have just said this. Like, okay, you're trying to be everywhere. Listen, you don't need to be everywhere. You need to be excellent at one thing, master that, then move on to the next. And then, like, okay, thanks. It's not really compelling. Like, why? Why are you telling me this? How do I know that that's going to work? He gave the story. He gave his story. He told his story. Anyway, you need to be excellent at one thing, master that, then move on to the next. Tomorrow, he's doing something here. Tomorrow, I'll share a content strategy that creates immediate trust and rapport, even with an ice-cold audience. What is he doing right here? He's dangling the carrot, so to speak, for the next email. He is, what's the word? Opening a loop. He's opening a loop. Excuse me. Opening a loop, dangling a carrot, giving you a reason to open the next email, or not it may not necessarily be the next email, but to open a future email from him. And he gives you a reason, or like, it gives you something enticing to look forward to in a future email that will make you want to look for it, to read it, whatever. Or it's designed, it's intended to make you want to look for it, to read it, to open it, or to want to check it out, to want to find it, see it, read it, whatever. Anyway, creates immediate trust and rapport even with an ice cold audience. Now that's something that is his ideal audience, his ideal client wants. And talk tomorrow, Dan. And then at the PS, what does he have in the PS? Postscript, whatever. PS. My epic pitch challenge is coming up soon. If you want to master one thing that can transform your entire business, this is it. Check it out here. Okay, so he's not selling overtly in this email. It's more like an addition. And this is something Jim Edwards in his book Copywriting Secrets talks about the stealth close. And it's like you're talking about you're sharing stuff in your content, and then you're like, oh, by the way, this is coming up soon, you might want to check it out, here's a link. Okay, it's very low pressure, no pressure. Like, it's not salesy. It's just like, hey, this is coming up, it might help you, check it out. And that's effective. So my epic pitch challenge is coming up soon. Like, hey, it's coming up soon. If you want to master one thing, is tying it back to the subject, the theme, the topic of the email. So it's relevant, right? If you want to master one thing that can transform your entire business, this is it. Check it out here. So this is, we've gone through this, covered some things. This is an email, a Dan Henry email. Hopefully you've learned something. Hopefully this was beneficial, valuable to you. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.